title geared up to storm the gates in the season opener of Hangtown, it was anyone's guess as to who would stand out from the pack. But no one pegged the unassuming rookie, Geico Honda's Eli Tomac. How about this? In his first ever pro race, Eli Tomac wins at Hangtown. Now no longer flying under the radar, Tomac is among an elite group of championship hopefuls, including Pro Circuit Kawasaki's Christophe Pourcel and Geico Honda's Trey Canard, and the other Ironmen of Motocross, who are set to take on the Texas heat and the grueling track of the Freestone National. Wortham, Texas for round 2 of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship, the Flagstar Bank Freestone National. Hello everyone, Jason Wigan and David Bailey here. It's Texas, it's June, it's hot, no surprise there. The big surprise though is behind us in the pits. The 243 of the 17-year-old rookie Eli Tomac has won the first round of the series. A big, big shock.
It was, and you know, it's probably a shock to a lot of the guys at Pro Circuit. I mean, after watching the Las Vegas Supercross, I figured these guys are going to stay on a roll, come outdoors, and just crush it. You know, they got the power. Of course, Pourcel was up there where he belonged. Wilson looked like he had a good ride going, fell over. So I expect those guys to rebound and be strong, but Eli, that was amazing. And you know what's going to happen, I think, is his team, Canard, Barcia, Wharton, these guys can do well here in the heat. And I think they're motivated right now. They're like, we're the veterans. How's this young kid come in and make us look bad like that? So I think, you know, the morale is high over there. The motivation is high. And I expect Eli to keep doing well.
Well, that's the big question. He is a rookie. Can we genuinely expect him to be in title contention for 12 rounds?
I think that John and his wife have done a nice job of bringing him up. They're humble. They've trained for this. Maybe they're a little bit surprised. Maybe his mom's a little bit more nervous. But, you know, I don't see any reason why he can't just keep doing well. Of course, he's a rookie. He's going to get a bad start once in a while, maybe fall down. But he showed he could win. That wasn't luck. So I expect him to be back up front for the rest of the series.
So spectacular. He has definitely got the buzz. The new kid on the block, son of a mountain bike champion, Eli Tomac. Let's get to know the new kid.
So I think this is the best way for the rookies to go, is to go into a full outdoor season, because you get more experience and it's obviously outdoor. There's a little less pressure because you're not inside of a stadium with 60,000 people. Well, I'm obviously in this for myself and to have fun, and my dad always would give me breaks off after some of the nationals. I mean, you got to be a kid also, so I mean, it's really important to not burn yourself out, and a lot of the people that are racing, the parents want to race more than the kids, so I mean, that's one thing you got to really concentrate on, is make sure your kid wants to do it, and I guess that's what I want to do also. In about 8th grade, I got homeschooled. I mean, I had to give up a few school friends, but I mean, I'm obviously still friends with them. You know, you might not be able to go to a dance or something, but really, I mean, I had a ton of fun still. I didn't really give up that much, I guess, and it seems like it's all been worth it.
In his first ever pro race, Eli Tomac wins at Hangtown. An unbelievable performance for that young man, 17 years old, out of Colorado, and he has conquered the best riders in the world. Well, that's Eli Tomac. We'll see if he can do it again today, and if you do it, you got to do it twice, because we run 2 motos. That's the Motocross 411. We'll total up the scores of both of the motos today to determine an overall winner, and they are long races, 30 minutes plus 2 laps each, and here's the track they'll race on.
Short start, right-handed first corner, then a real fast section with a couple of 90-degree lefts. Then they get into the trees, a lot of shadows, a lot of ruts. Hard to pick your line in there where it gets dark to light, and then some faster big sweepers where you can go around the outside just as fast as you can go around the inside. A lot of places to pass through there. And then after that switchback, there's an interesting camel jump that goes into the sand whoops, which are just brutal. It takes so much strength to go through there.
We already have Moto 1 completed, and we'll take you through the highlights of that one. Bunch of riders banging bars in the first turn, and guess who grabs the whole shot? Yes, indeed. Eli Tomac out front, David. He was on fire.
He was so spectacular in that opening lap. I thought, this kid's going to run away and win this moto by 20 seconds. It's unbelievable.
Meanwhile, the guy we thought could challenge him, Christophe Pourcel, started in 4th and took a while to get going. First, he's going to pass Blake Wharton here for 3rd, while Tomac continued to check out. Then Pourcel's going to go after the number 200 of Cole Seeley. The first time we've seen Seeley up front in one of the motos this year, and Pourcel's able to overwhelm him.
And then another rider on the move, Blake Baggett, but watch this. As soon as he lands, the bike dies. He was all the way up to 3rd.
Yeah.
Unbelievable performance from this young rookie, and then he finally got it going again, but well outside the top 20.
Then just like that, all of a sudden, the wheels come off for Tomac. Pourcel's looking over at him saying, come on, let's race, kid. What happened?
I think he sprinted so hard early on that he hit the wall, and hopefully he recovered between motos.
Crazy battle behind them. You had Dean Wilson get around Trey Canard to get 3rd, and then Canard, Weimer, Rattray all just battling right down to the end. That's what makes this 250 class so fun to watch. The competition is deep. Here are the results. Let's see if Tomac has anything left for this second moto, considering how much energy he used in the first 20 minutes of Moto 1, David.
Well, and I don't know. If he gets another start, I don't see any reason why he's not just going to take off and do the same thing he just did. The board is sideways. Pourcel with that inside gate.
Let's go racing.
Good start for Pourcel. Not good enough.
Tomac again grabs the whole shot, but he's got Dean Wilson on his right. Wilson is probably a little bit over the fact that other rookies have been overshadowing him this year. He wants to challenge a 243. And let's have at it. Christophe Pourcel way back, probably about 30th place. And we see Blake Baggett, Jake Weimer also deep in the pack. So things have changed. One thing that hasn't, Tomac up front in Moto 1 and here in Moto 2.
You know, coming right from the amateur scene, same with Wilson, okay? Look at both these guys up front.
Oh.
They're so used to sprinting, shorter motos. You know, yeah, maybe they fade a little towards the end, but I think that's to be expected. These kids will figure that out as time goes on.
It's going to be a good challenge here to see if Wilson can hang with the rider who used to battle as an amateur just a bit. And Blake Wharton, Texan, into the number 3 position.
Really nice fundamentals from Eli. He just showed it through that corner right there. He got into that berm, and if he would have stayed off the power like you normally do when you settle into a berm like that, he would have dabbed his foot and scuffed some speed, but he's here to get on the power real early to keep his balance, to stay in the sweet spot of that ride.
Well, I've heard Eli say that Chad Reed is the rider he really looks up to, especially over the fact that Reed never dabs his feet in corners, and his dad, John Tomac, makes him practice figure 8s at home to keep those basics. And that paid off right there. That could have been a crash.
Well, his dad spent most of his career clipped in.
He doesn't know how to dab feet.
Maybe they'll eventually hit that with motocross. You never know.
But as good as Tomac looks, he is not able to shake the 108 of the Scotland-born, Canadian-raised Dean Wilson, who's right there shadowing him in the number 2 spot. Let's go down to Aaron Bates, 3rd member of our broadcast team, with a progressive report.
When teams showed up this morning, some of them were carrying in blow-up kiddie pools and large Tupperware storage containers. Some people thought that they were just having fun, but actually teams had a plan for these pools. In between the motos, I checked in between the haulers, and all the pools were blown up, filled with ice water. And as soon as the riders came off the track, they were lounging in ice-cold water, trying to cool down their core body temperature. I got to admit, it was a little bit snug in there. It looked rather inviting, but I don't think there was any room for me.
I would think they would make room. I would just venture a guess.
It feels good to get in that water, but you know, it can make your hands and feet soft, and then blisters show up. And yeah, you might be able to get through today with that, but riding next week and getting ready for Mount Morris may be an issue.
Yeah, these guys don't get much time off between the races. They got to ride and train. So yeah, if you hurt yourself today, you got to take Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off. That might hurt you the next race. Here's Will Hahn and Tyla Rattray in 4th and 5th.
Better start for Rattray this time, and he's going to get stronger as the race goes on. I would predict. You know, the guy, he looks like he could eat the racetrack. He's so strong. Look at his posture on the bike. Just, let me just bend these bars to my liking.
Rattray, the former GP champ out of South Africa, has not gotten good starts since he came to the U.S., and there is some theorizing that he's a little bit too big for a 250, a little bit too heavy. Not a huge guy to see him walking around, but in this class, guys like Will Hahn, they're sprite, lightweight guys. And we're looking for Canard. It just came through. And finally, we see Pourcel now. And Pourcel just knocked down the door of the top 10. And he's battling with his good buddy, Justin Barcia.
little early to start talking about it, but I can't help but mention it. Looks good for Tomac in the overall.
Yeah, we're only about 5 minutes into this race, but 377 of Pourcel really going to have to work hard after winning Moto 1 to even get near the podium in Moto 2, and if he can't do that, he might just lose the whole darn overall race day. And you don't want the kid to win 2 in a row.
Yeah. I'm blown away.
Barcia! Oh, not able to hang on to it. Good job to save it.
It's hard to ride a rut that's like 100 yards long, you know? It takes incredible balancing. He just got slightly off in that run right there. It was a good save. It takes some energy to do that, but he only lost one spot, and to a guy like Pourcel, who you can maybe sort of mark for the rest of the race, maybe he can latch on and follow Pourcel. He's already making passes.
I was going to say, you know, he's going to the front. He just blows past Michael Willard at the Honda of Troy bike. Back to our leaders, Tomac and Wilson, not letting him go. And we're just getting started. Remember how much energy Tomac used in Moto 1? Will he be able to hold on this time in Moto 2? You're going to have to stay tuned to find out. Needs coverage of the Lucas Oil AMA. Back to the action here in Texas. Jason Wigan, David Bailey, and Aaron Bates making the call. Jake Weimer, who's expected to be a title contender this year, went down on the first turn. That's going to make life tough on him. What does he need to do in this race today, David? Our Rocky Mountain keys to the race.
Well, right now he needs to pin it. But, you know, coming into the race, I was thinking, you know, it hasn't gone quite as well as it did for Supercross. So trust your program, okay? It's going to come around. He needed to execute the start. Obviously, it didn't happen. But, you know, don't panic. The series will come around. There's a long ways to go. 21 more motos, including this one. And he didn't get his first win until Denver last year. Then he won the very next round at Red Bull. So he can come back. Certainly capable.
Yeah. Midway through the tour last year, he really came alive. He is battling right now with the 61 of Vince Freeze for 18. Let's show you our progressive whole shot replay. First, we'll see who gets the lead, and then we'll see what happens to Weimer. No surprise out front.
Yeah, closing off Pourcel, and then Tomac is just nailing those starts. And I have to think that, you know, in amateur racing, you see a bunch of guys that are piled up on the inside. Weimer, was stuck in there, and it looked like maybe Seeley was stuck there with him.
Yeah, so that's nearly a dead last start for Weimer. He's got his work cut out for him. Even just salvage some points and maybe get near the top 10. What do you see?
That was a cool line right there. Hit that braking bump, just popped everything. So he's, I don't see any sign of, especially on the throttle through there, the way he just rode that sweeper. I don't see him like going, yeah, that first moto took a lot out of me. I don't see any of that right now. But we got 20 minutes to go.
Well, unbelievable. Aaron, what are you hearing about the 243 down there in the pits?
Well, guys, Eli Tomac has got something a little bit different. The team bought an Enduro tank, which is an oversized gas tank. It's a little bit heavier, probably about half of a pound. But considering he's such a hard charger and he's always revving the engine, they were concerned about him running out of gas during a moto. So far, it hasn't been a problem, but they're taking every precaution necessary. So kind of neat. A different tank, definitely.
The bike's not getting around out of gas, and I'm not sure the rider is. He looks faster than ever right now.
He just went through that sand section as fast as anyone I've seen all day long. They're just skimming the tops. He's got such good timing. You know, a lot of guys get sucked into wheeling over a certain bump, and then that means you're going to bounce all the way, the rest of the way through there. And he's got a really nice timing the way that he enters that section, which ones he decides to carry the front wheel over, which ones he decides to put the front wheel at the top of. Working great so far.
You're watching Will Hahn on the 49 in 4th, and Trey Canard in 5th on the 38. And Hahn a little bit lighter weight. He and his teammate Cole Seeley got their heads shaved after practice today. They came in and said, man, it's hot out there. So Sandy Yeager, who's one of the trainers out here, shaved their heads. So when their screens pop up, when you see their picture pop up on the screen, that's when he had the long hair. But we'll actually show you he and Seeley dealing with the heat. There's a couple ways to do it. Here's a little bit about what it's like to race out here when it's so darn hot.
I think the local tracks are really good. They prep them well, they get rough, and I think it's the heat. Mainly it's the heat. It's hot there during the summer. It's one of the last year was one of the most unbelievable years. I went back right after Hangtown. I flew home and trained the week before there just to get acclimated to it, because it's hot out here in California, but it's a different heat for sure. When you get there, it's just humidity. It's just pouring down on you. I went on a run right when I got back, and I barely made it back to the house.
Will Hahn and his brother Tommy Hahn, who races in the 450 class, are both born in Kansas, but they now make their racing home in Decatur, Texas. So yeah, he's definitely used to the heat, but so is 38 of Trey Canard because he's from Oklahoma. So it's really the home race for both of these guys. And they need to rally right now to try to put those bikes on the podium and keep away from the South African Rattray who's right behind them.
There's something that, you know, I always wanted to try to do good in the heat, do well in the mud, and do well in the sand. Those were always like the separators, you know, and for the heat, just like Will said, you have to do things and get out there. Wow, nice move by Canard. Just hit the jump faster. Looks like it's going to work.
Oh, Hahn's going to fight back. Side by side. Finally, Trey Canard is able to get that spot. So he is into 4th. Credit to Will, though, who really wasn't known for his outdoor skills until about now. Had a great race at Hangtown, had a great race here. Struggled the first couple of years with the pro, but this team, this Lucas Oil Troy Lee Honda team, has really turned things around for a lot of guys, including Will. I'm sure he didn't want to get past there, but he's still inside the top 5.
Yeah, I mean, to get passed by a guy like Canard is a disaster. I mean, on paper, he belongs in front of Will at this point in their careers. But, you know, going back to Will and his preparation and just living down here and going, hey, I want to be tough. You have to be tough to win the outdoor series. You don't have to be tough to win Supercross. You have to be brave. You have to have great timing. And in Supercross, you know, that only take you so far. So he's, you know, to be out there running and barely making it back to the house tells me that he's doing what he needs to do during the week to have it for today.
And Rattray beginning to put pressure on them from the number 6 spot. Then 7th, as you saw it just come by, is the number 20 of Broc Tickle, who told me he was out riding in California this week, but he put Under Armour cold weather gear on underneath his riding gear to acclimate himself to the heat. He's in 7th behind these guys, Rattray in the 28 and the 49 of Hahn. And guess what? No matter how hot and rough it is, no matter how much a break these guys want, we can take a break. They can't, because we're only halfway through this moto. That means a lot of great racing. So stay tuned here from Texas. Saturday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern, exclusively on Speed. That's an endurance race of a different kind. Let's talk about this one.
Yeah, besides Wilson just turning a little bit quicker lap, closed the gap a little bit. What I'm seeing from Tomac, I mean, you know, if it keeps going like this, it looks like he's going to get the overall, even if Wilson passes him. So, well, no, Wilson was 3rd the first moto.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
Yeah, so he's got to hold him off. So, but versus Pourcel, who seems to always have a good moto and a not so good moto.
Yeah.
Physically is what this may come down to, and you got to give the nod to Tomac. He's proven he can ride, and just as fast and clever as Pourcel can. So, man, this kid looking at a championship, it's early to say all that, but he's looking better and better all the time.
Yeah.
I don't see weaknesses, you know?
Well, if anyone's going to find him, it's going to be the 108 of Wilson. He's searching for a way around right now. He has stayed in the hunt. We are only halfway through this 30-minute plus 2-lap moto, and I'm sure Wilson is aware that Tomac ran really strong for 20 minutes in Moto 1 and then hit the wall. Let's see if Wilson, around that 20-minute mark, and I'm seeing a little mistake here out of Tomac, and if Wilson does get this, that could be the overall.
Both these kids looking just a little bit like plumbers. Pants kind of drips.
Ventilation.
Yeah, for Tomac, it was the little tab in the center of the pants. It kind of looked like a crack. But he's not really showing as much as Wilson here.
Wilson's jersey comes up tucked in every moto, and I've heard the Thor people actually have to zip tie his pants. The belt can't cinch enough. He's so skinny. They can't find a way to keep the jersey tucked. They got an odd build there, but hey, whatever he's doing right now, it's working.
You know, this may. It may be a stretch, but I'd be willing to bet these kids lost a little bit of weight in the first moto.
The weight's just bigger.
Smaller.
Yeah, it reminds me of Josh Hill back in the day in Supercross, who could never get his pants to stay up and his jersey tucked. I don't think I've seen a professional race out of Wilson where this hasn't happened, so it's not going to bother him. Look at this. He is now going after Tomac. If he makes this pass, you'd be looking at a 3-1 situation. I don't want to speak too soon because I screwed it up at our last race of who won the overall. But a 3-1 beats a 2-2. We're only halfway through. A lot can change from there. Here comes Wilson. He's got him in his sights, and now he's got him on his right side. He's got the pass made. Dean Wilson. And he does a little up on the pegs of his own through that section.
Looked like Tomac just took a breath right there, like, okay, all right.
Wow.
It's not over yet, but let me catch my breath, figure out where this guy's faster, and see what happens, you know? But you got Pourcel, clear back in 8th. So both these kids, yeah, the overall's looking good.
Well, I want to ask you about Wilson's mindset. Very great rookie season in Supercross, but other rookies, Barcia and Blake Baggett got wins. Great debut rookie race at Hangtown, but Eli Tomac, another rookie, got a win. He has got to be fired up to say, don't forget about me. I'm a rookie. I can win.
And that's what this performance is looking a lot like.
Yeah.
Hey, man. I don't know that he cares about all that right now, but I'm sure it's been on his mind leading into this race and between motos probably. So Tomac,
there's steam out of Tomac here.
That's what I was just thinking. You know,
Yeah, it looks like it.
He was running, you know, 210s, whatever, in the first moto, and then all of a sudden he dropped to 216s and 17s. Pretty abrupt. So,
Yeah.
you know, that could have put a pretty big dent in this moto physically. So, you know, he hasn't...
He's really coming unglued now. He has a 15-second lead, it says, over the third-place rider, Canard, but that was a half of a lap ago when they passed the finish line. How long can he hang out? Meanwhile, Christophe Pourcel is up to 8th. And you know he's going to be strong right to the end. This is going to be interesting. Dean Wilson's going to try to run away with the overall, and Eli Tomac is just going to try to hang on. It's hot out here, folks. We can't state it enough. Stay tuned.
Sunday,
Speed Mobile. Expert analysis, the latest stats, results, videos, and the latest news posted as soon as they become available. So get more at speed.com or m.speedtv.com on your phone. Get reports on races like this. Eli Tomac, 2nd place here in Freestone, Texas. And Aaron Bates has actually got his parents. Let's talk to the Tomacs.
That's right, I found John Tomac, Eli Tomac's father, standing up here in the bleachers, keeping a close eye on your son. John, what are your impressions of your son so far in his pro career?
Oh, he's done awesome. We were hoping for top 5s, and you know, he won the opening round in Hangtown, which was awesome, and he's doing great. Today was 2nd. The heat's really a big issue here. It's hard to acclimate for it, to get ready for it. It's been not that hot at our home in Colorado, so it's a challenge for us today, but he's hanging in there tough.
What does it mean to you having him come to Hangtown, take that overall win, to come here and prove that that was not beginner's luck?
It was really special to win that race, you know, and he's been working over 10 years now as an amateur, and it's nice to see all of his work pay off for him.
You've been a pro athlete your whole life, so are you nervous sitting here watching him?
Not really, because, you know, I've been with him for so long racing, and it's nice to make it to this level. You know, I think the riders are obviously the best in the world, so I actually feel more comfortable at these events.
We'll let you get back to keeping your eagle eye on him. Great luck.
Now that guy is arguably the greatest of all time in American mountain biking racing. And in the early days when mountain biking was first coming of age, this is the guy to put it on the map.
He, like, just was the sport,
yes.
You know, to win the downhill and the cross-country championship pretty much in the same year. And I've been to some races, and you see that guy climbing. He's like, just yelling in the faces he makes. I mean, just Google John Tomac and look at some images, and you'll see the intensity that he rode with. Very much of an innovator as well, so, you know, of course he's instilled all that in Eli, and it shows.
Well, what's impressive to me is Eli just lost the lead and is struggling a little bit, but Dad doesn't seem alarmed.
No.
No, they know this is a long career. They're planning for the long haul, not individual races. But here is how he lost the lead.
Yeah, just he was in his comfortable line. He's been taking that line. You see him just a tiny glance over, going, yeah, well, you know, hey, let me try to not push it too much and lose the chance of perhaps a 2nd overall and a decent moto finish and keep that red plate.
Yeah, he's got to hang on here. He's getting a little loose on the motorcycle. As we said, maybe running low on energy late in this thing, and now the riders are getting to close in, and this is not a guy you want closing in on you late in a race. The very tough South African Tyla Rattray.
Yeah, he's making me look smart right now. I was talking about how he's going to get stronger as the moto goes on, and he's doing just that. And, you know, I don't think everyone's tired. He's just not as tired as Eli, I don't think. Time is left. You see up there just under 8 minutes before the 2-lap board. If it was only 2 laps left, I think that Tyla had a pretty good chance to catch Eli.
Tyla has passed Trey Canard to get into that 3rd place spot. And some mistakes there from Canard. He takes a look over his shoulder and realizes one more mistake and Broc Tickle might be able to get him. And this is the Broc Tickle style. You usually don't see him around the first 10 minutes of the moto, but late, Tickle is a charger, kind of the same way Rattray is. I don't know if these guys ever get tired, or at least tired to the point where it slows their lap times. He is solid.
Anstie putting together a pretty good moto right behind Tickle.
There he is.
A little bit off the radar in the first moto, but and young, really young. I didn't realize. I thought he was like 19.
Just turned 17, Anstie, absolutely, the young English rider. He's got the jersey untucked now. On a day like today, you probably want that habit.
He's strong. I know he works really hard with his dad. They're out in wine country, not too far from my house. And it's hot out there, right at the edge of the desert. And I have the same doctor he has, chiropractor. And that guy really did some magic with him in Supercross. And they said he wasn't going to be able to walk for like 12 weeks. In 9 weeks, he won a heat race in Seattle.
Yeah, he had a hip problem. Then we go back to Will Hahn, who's behind Anstie. And finally, we see the 377 of Pourcel. So Pourcel is in 8th. He's been in 8th for quite some time. There is more time left in this race for him to make some passes, but I don't know if there's enough for him to get close enough to preserve the overall.
I mean, if you've ever been, real tired, and then all of a sudden you got to step up the pace, you'll know how these guys feel. For Will to have to hold off Christophe, and then for Christophe to try to muster up something to get by Will and not lose as many points. I mean, and motocross is just tough. Supercross it's cool. It'll always have its vibe, and it's exciting, and it's so concentrated, and you're right there looking at everything. But man, physically, there's nothing quite like this.
Well, it's so tough out here in Texas. There are rumors they were considering cutting back the distance of the motos today because the riders, you can get to the point, says Doc Bodner, the staff doctor here with Asterisk, he says they can get to the point where they're riding on instinct. The riders don't even realize they're so, oh, wait a minute. Tyla Rattray has caught and now passed Eli Tomac. And what Tomac is dealing with right now is what the track doctors are kind of warned about. The rider sometimes is the last to realize what he's going for. They'll just keep riding on instinct, and they want the teams to stay on top of their guys. If they really drop off the pace, pull them in before they struggle with potentially more problems. You can get sick, this can linger. I don't know if Tomac's that bad, but you got to be aware of it.
No, he's just being smart right there.
Now, Rattray could probably run an hour with this stuff.
Yeah, if they put that big gas tank on his bike, they use it all.
He's missing. Good times out here in Texas for the fans, both on and off the track. Dean Wilson closing in on the win. Stay with us. We knew the competition would be deep in the 250 class this season, but I don't know if people expected Dean Wilson to come out and win races early. We have documented quite a bit the surprise of Eli Tomac winning the opening round. It was a bit of a surprise. So out of all the established stars, we might just have 2 rookies win the first 2 rounds of the year. So we're not kidding when we say the competition is deep.
Future of motocross is looking really good. It's cool to see the changing of the guards and new kids coming up. I mean, I remember watching him ride amateur races not that long ago, and he doesn't look like he's really gotten any stronger or matured that much. He looks pretty frail, actually, but man, he's showing strength right now.
Aaron's doing the tour of the parent section. Now, who you got, Aaron?
I'm finding all the parents down here, but I've got Jackie Wilson, which is Dean Wilson's mom, and she's just about ready to jump over the fence. You're so excited. How proud of you are you, son, right now?
Oh, I'm so proud, but it's all for him because he worked so hard to get here. And it's been a long road, but he deserves it.
Definitely making a stand for a rookie. No Canadian has ever won an outdoor national or a supercross. What would this moment mean to you guys?
Oh, so much, for all the times he was in Canada in the cold, training, and it's all been worth it.
It's like all the support and all the hard work is finally paying off. I know you want to keep your eyes peeled to see these final few laps, so good luck.
Love the Scottish accent of his mom. And what does mom always say as advice to sons? Make sure you always wear clean underwear because you never know who's going to see it. And Dean Wilson is unfortunately showing that right now, but that's about the only problem he has. He's got the overall on lockdown, especially now that Tomac has lost another position to Rattray. And if not for a fall in the first moto of the year, where he finished 10th, he could be right there in the points hunt as well. So at the beginning of the show, we talked about, is Tomac a legitimate championship contender? What about Dean Wilson?
showing that he is. Yeah, I'm impressed. Real impressed. You know, he's you know, there's a lot of talk about Tomac based on the first round, and then pole shot in both motos, running out. But you know, fitness. Like John said, he goes, you know, we're living up in Colorado, Durango, and they haven't had these kinds of conditions. And I don't know what what Dean did during the week, but not doing as bad in this heat, and looking to get his first win. So what the other amateur riders around him, as they came up, they've already gotten their little moments of glory with wins here and there, and now it's his turn to prove. Good job.
Yeah, unbelievable what he's done, and also this reestablishes the Monster Pro Circuit Kawasaki team out front, where we expect them to be even at the opener. They had some good rides out of Wilson and Pourcel. They didn't get the overall win for the day. We're waiting on Rattray to come through, that Scott champion who's a lap down. Rattray's pretty far back, didn't get the start, unfortunately, as usual for him. And wait a minute. We now hear that the Tomac has dropped out of the top 5. We'll try to stay with this as deep as we can to get him. So that's going to upset the points even more. Here's Rattray in second.
He's like, shorten the motos.
Yeah.
No, don't do that. Make it 40 minutes.
And I'd say Broc Tickle here in third would tell you the same thing. That kid is tough. He's third. Fourth is his teammate, Anstie. That's the best run of the year we've seen so far of Anstie, although, hey, it's only the 4th moto of the season. So the Star Racing DNA Shred Sticks riders are doing well here in 3rd and 4th place. Anstie actually closing in a bit on Tickle. He doesn't care that Tickle's got the strongman reputation. He's going to keep the heat on him. And Pourcel is up to 5th, with Trey Canard 6th, Will Hahn, and now Tomac back to 8th. Then Barcia and Davalos. So, bit of a surprise here how this has turned out. Canard has gone backwards, Tomac's gone way back. And Max Anstie on fire right now.
Yeah, Max was really good. He raced last weekend as well, had an awful day. And rebounded from that pretty nice. And Pourcel just looking calm as ever. Just kind of moseying around that outside, but with good momentum up into 5th. He sat back there for quite a while. He stayed in 9th and 8th for a really long time, but limiting the damage really well right now.
Okay, then we see Will Hahn, who is in 6th, and then 38 of Trey Canard has gone pretty far back there. He was in 3rd at one point in this moto. He is now back to 7th, and we're waiting even longer to find Tomac. There he comes, and the goggles are hanging down. This is a sand wall jump that he's headed to, but I think he's pretty much already hit the wall. His lap time's dropped off by 17 seconds, and again, this is what the track doctors warn people of. You got to be careful about pushing yourself too hard in this heat. Let's hope we can just get to the finish line and get some points out of this.
Hard to say if he fell, perhaps, and his goggles got all messed up and he took them off, or if he took them off just to get some air to his face and try to survive this last part of the race.
Wow. I knew it was going to be tough today. You knew it was going to be tough today, but it has been illustrated perhaps more clearly than we ever could have explained it. We'll be back for the finish here from Texas. The pride of both Scotland and Canada and also California. That's a lot on his shoulders. No problem. He shrugs it off. And in what is only his 2nd professional AMA Motocross race. He did race Supercross earlier this year, but this is his first time around on the outdoor tour. He's going to win. He's got 2 laps to go. And the reputation for Wilson, I heard people say he's fast, he's good, but I don't know if he's in shape. I don't know if he's strong. Vegas Supercross not too long ago, he's challenging his teammate Jake Weimer for the win, and then about 12 laps in, he went backwards a bit. I think he has now proven fitness is not a problem.
Yeah, I think what happened there was just experience. You know, those guys just snuck around him at the end of the race. Here, you know, it's a combination of really fine riding, and obviously he's in shape, or he's gifted, and he's got a good heart. And, you know, I don't know what his training program is, but certainly by looking at him, you don't go, wow, that guy's fit. You know, but hey, man, it doesn't matter right now. He's looking like he's going to win this thing.
And with the kind of confidence this is going to build, who knows what will happen down the line. We've got 10 more rounds in this series. The points are going to be all sorts of shaken up. Christophe Pourcel is going to be able to salvage something today with 1-5 scores, but don't count the young teammate out. His team has a way of generating championships often from riders you would least expect. You go back to Ivan Tedesco in 2005. I don't believe anyone really was predicting he'd win that title, but something about this team just gives you confidence.
It's a combination of good instincts, you know, on the selection of the riders, and then once they pick those guys, they see something in them that a lot of people don't, for one thing. And then when they get this equipment and they're around the rest of the riders on the team that are usually up there and have done well in the past or are currently doing well, you just kind of rise to the occasion. And here's the latest installment of a solid pro circuit rider that may end up winning the championship before it's over.
Now, this guy is literally lucky to be here. Back in the early spring, we raced the Supercross in Toronto, Canada, and he did not have his sports visa, had not officially gone through the full permit process, and they stopped him at the border, and he was stuck there for 2 weeks. And the rumor was that he could be stuck in Canada for up to 5 years. And basically, in motocross, you're just kissing your championship, your career goodbye. Although, look out, Tyla Rattray has caught Dean Wilson. Is Wilson tired? Is he cruising? Does he know he's there? He does now. Better get on the gas. Anyway, they were able to get the paperwork filed. He missed 2 Supercross races, and he's sure glad that he got back, because now he will get to enjoy the spoils of victory if he can hold off Tyla Rattray. And like we said, Rattray didn't get tired of these things.
Looks
He's
like,
right there.
Yeah, Tickle's not that far behind either. The top 3 closing up the final lap. And partially because Dean was going, all right, cool, I'm going to win. I'm going to win the moto. I'm going to win. Oh, wait, whoa. Maybe not.
Well,
the overall still looks good.
Yeah.
Even if Rattray gets him.
Yeah, Rattray's a few spots further back in that first moto, so he doesn't really have to worry about him for the overall. What is he? Is he going to let him have it? He better hope that they've done the math right there. Wow. Hard to believe. Now it's going to be a second career moto victory in the U.S. for Tyla Rattray. He won one last year at Southwick.
What is Dean doing?
I don't know.
Looks like maybe Tickle's going to get around them as well.
I'm in a hurry. Never quite seen anything like this. I mean, you can't do that much math in your head. You got to be careful that you don't give this whole darn thing away. Tyla Rattray wins the moto, yeah. And Tickle, he's going to fight for every position, and he gets past Wilson.
That was weird.
I don't understand what... I think he just threw it away. I don't understand what has happened to Dean Wilson down the stretch. He doesn't look like he's on the verge of exhaustion right now. This is puzzling. We're going to take a break here and try to figure out what has happened. Christophe Pourcel might have stolen this overall. The crafty Frenchman has struck in his craftiest yet. Unbelievable. Christophe Pourcel has won the overall. I can barely explain how, but I'll try my best via the Lucas Oil race recap. Another big hole shot for the rookie, Eli Tomac, and he's got another rookie, Dean Wilson, right with him. They battled. Eventually, Tomac got tired, and Wilson took the lead. David?
Yeah, it looked like Tomac was still going to hang on to second, but that pro circuit battle went right by him. Tomac faded. Then Wilson looks like, oh, Rattray, you can have it. I got the overall. And then he just lollygagged. Watch Broc Tickle. Snags it from him at the very end. He realized, oh, I blew it.
Wilson, if he had finished second in that moto, would have won the overall, but instead he finishes third. And that's the difference by 1 point. Christophe Pourcel with first and fifth scores today is going to steal the overall. Crazy. Let's go down to Aaron.
Unbelievable what just took place out there. Christophe, you survived all of the elements. Congratulations to that. Today was a brutal day. Talk us about, you didn't even know that you had actually won the overall until you actually came across the line.
No, you know, I usually ride really good the first moto, and it's what I did today. I won, and then I didn't know that I got the overall second moto. I had the crash at the start, and I had to do those mistakes. You know, I'm just gonna try to fix the bike next weekend for the suspension, and try to go over there and try to win both moto. But I know that it's never easy, but I'm gonna try to give my best with my Kawasaki Monster Pro Circuit.
Congratulations on extending that points lead.
Wow.
I didn't realize he went down in the first corner. We were talking about
Oh, he was down
Weimer.
with Weimer.
Yeah,
okay.
That's even more impressive.
You got to stay tuned to these races all year long on speed. That's how fun the 250 class is to watch. High Point coming up next weekend, and then Budds Creek, go to Colorado, and then Redbud, all on speed. Still trying to sort this out on the podium. Wilson and Rattray will be third and second. Stay with us.
24.
Hey, the fans still have some energy left. The riders are completely exhausted after a long day in the heat, but the Texas motocross fans can't get enough of it. Here's your Geico moment of the race. Last lap, Dean Wilson has the lead and just waves his teammate by.
That I understand,
yes.
But I don't think he realized Broc Tickle was so close. There you see Broc making the pass.
And Wilson puts up his arm saying, what happened? But hey, you got to charge right to the finish. Here's why. He is going to lose the overall by 1 point. If he had held on for second, he would have edged Pourcel. Trey Canard, heat exhaustion all down the finish, ends up 5th, and Eli Tomac 6th. That was a rough day for him. Let's go back down to Aaron.
Tyla Rattray just informed me that he was beyond prepared coming into this race this weekend because he knew, being from South Africa, it was going to be hot, it was going to be humid, and it was going to be rough, which is right your style. Tyla, tell us about last weekend. You ended up finishing up 10th, or pardon me, at Hangtown, 10th place. What does this mean to regroup and be up here on the podium?
Yeah, I mean, Hangtown didn't go the way I planned. I mean, I was really bummed after that, and all the hard work I did, and to walk away with the 10th place, I was really bummed. So I knew coming out was going to be hot, it was going to be brutal. So did some good training during the week with the guys from Pro Circuit and worked on some speed stuff. And man, that race was crazy. I just pushed the whole way. And when Trey passed me in the beginning, I wasn't really worried. I knew it was going to be a long race, and just started picking my pace up. And it was really hot today. I mean, this is probably the hottest condition I've ever raced in. And to walk away with the win in the second moto just felt great. But I want to thank all the guys from Pro Circuit, Kawasaki, Parts Unlimited, Thor, Traxxas, just everyone. I mean, King's Express, Freight in South Africa, Monster, just everyone for being behind me, my family, my parents, my fiance, and just everyone. Thank you.
It's been a long time since we've seen you up here on the podium since Southwick last year. Great to see you back up in the box.
Well, now it's official. It is beyond Africa hot out here in Texas. Wow. Here are the points. After rough late motos for Tomac, Pourcel now has established himself as the points leader. They were tied coming in. Let's go back down to Aaron.
Dean Wilson's got a look of what's going on right now. Dean, take us through a moment. We thought you had the overall, and then just the last little lap there. Take us through what happened.
Yeah, it was pretty heartbreaking, honestly. You know, I thought I had the win. You know, I was just cruising. I thought I had a huge lead, and I just wasn't paying attention, obviously. And Tyler got around me last lap. You know, I let him by because I thought that he fell and he needed, points. So I was like, go ahead. And I was just cruising, and I seen him do a fist pump, and man, my heart just shattered from there. It sucks. I was really close for my first overall, but I might be being a little baby, but I really want it really bad. And I'd just like to thank my Monster Energy, Pro Circuit, Kawasaki, Thor, Dunlop, and everyone else. Thanks a lot.
What do you take away from this experience?
I guess just to keep charging all the way to the finish line flag, but it's real hot and it's hard to do that, so that.
Congratulations on putting in a charge today.
Fuel your passion for racing with Speed Mobile. Get the latest motorcycle racing news and results as soon as they become available, sent right to your phone. Text MOTO to Speed3 for Speed Motorcycle Racing text alerts. I guess Dean Wilson thought Tyla Rattray was a lap down and wanted to give him another lap to make up positions. I'm still confused. We might never figure this mystery out.
Well, he wasn't threatened by Rattray, and he should have been.
yeah, apparently. Lesson learned there. Wow. He doesn't even look that tired. And as for Team Monster Pro Circuit Kawasaki, it looks like they are back. They sweep the podium, even though the order is a little bit different than we thought it would be. That's the unpredictable nature of the 250 class. We're glad you could join us here at the Flagstar Bank Freestone National in Texas. SpeedTV.com for more information on the series. For David Bailey and Aaron Bates, I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for watching, and congratulations to the crafty Frenchman. Surprised himself by winning today.